Should I have handled this situation like my wife says? Was I being a creep? I think you were normal and your wife is super weird here. Can you ask her where she got that ideas? I'm female, if it matters. The only situation in which I might be concerned for you is if you regularly misread social cues and get into trouble for it. If that's not you, then why your wife is so concerned that you are going to be accused for being normal friendly to a child. It's perfectly fine, the mother was there. You're in public having a fun innocent interaction with a kid, making a very boring experience a bit more entertaining. That said, her mother should be doing that ideally, but hey, travel with kids isn't easy. Nah man, you had a fun interaction with a cute kid. You helped her have a worldview that includes friendly strangers. This is 0% creepy. How much Fear TV does she watch? You're fine, her mom was right there FFS. Out of curiosity, how old was the kid? Your response seems fine and normal to me. I asked her what questions and she said the moment she leaned against you, you should have pushed her away and told her mom to control her child. You need to always protect yourself, especially around children, since you don't know what claims will made against you. That's bizarre. If you acted this aggressive and weird, the mom could have easily complained to ground agents or flight attendants. Pushing a child and insulting the mother is a bad look. I don't understand what she thinks could happen. The child will make claims that her head was glued to your elbow? I said it was a little weird, but I didn't think it was anything like that. I'm not going to shove a child away and cause a scene criticizing the parent behind me. If her mom felt uncomfortable with the whole situation, she could have easily picked her up and moved her away from me. Not sure why I should have reacted so aggressively. Exactly. This behavior would be a much bigger problem. Was it creepy of me to do so? No. If I'm ever in a similar situation, how do I handle it without being creepy or an asshole? You handled it fine? Your wife has been conditioned by paranoia and double standards. Reverse the roles and she wouldn't bat an eye. Your wife reinforcing this thinking is a form of toxic masculinity. Don't give this anecdote another thought. You played your part well. Your wife needs to get her head out of the gutter. You were humoring a child, that's all. That interaction was fine for the following reasons. You weren't alone with the child. It was a public setting with people all around you. The child's mother was directly behind the child witnessing your interaction. If you had been alone with the child, that would be worrying for you. This incident is harmless and there is no need for you to act differently next time. A thought I had, because the mother herself put her and her daughter's focus directly on you, they may have needed your shadow of protection. The mother may have felt vulnerable for whatever reason, and being in close proximity to a man gave them some safety. I think you did well to play along and you still maintained your own boundaries. What a weird reaction from your wife. Honestly, sounds like you acted perfectly in this situation. I'd do exactly the same. If anything, the mum of the kid glued to your elbow is in the wrong. I'd try and pry my kid off with profuse apologies. Not everyone wants strangers, let alone stranger kids pawing at them. You're not the weirdo here. That mother clearly was not afraid of you, because if she was, she would have prevented her child from talking to you. Your wife does make somewhat of a good point when it comes to protecting yourself, and really it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. People are unpredictable and you never know who will flip on you, so sometimes it's safer to be the a-hole than to be defending yourself against accusations. Your wife, I'd advise you to keep that story to yourself, shares it on Reddit. Elmo. Classic. I've noticed while traveling abroad that children outside the US and their parents don't tend to have these same sort of inhibitions and mistrust from strangers. At least not in LATAM. I remember my first time walking through a park with kids in it. I felt uncomfortable due to living in the US, where I constantly felt like I was being watched, but the kids and their parents just smiled and waved at me. Some of the kids ran up to me and said hello. That's been my experience, at least. I don't think you were in the wrong or being creepy. Both the mother and child seemed okay with the interaction. You were not seeking this out and you were staying in tune with mom and what her comfort level was. I understand where your wife is coming from. Men do need to be careful around children, but it sounds like you were. Please, please, please show this thread to your wife. She needs to know that she's the creepy one here. That story sounds completely reasonable. Unfortunately, man equals active pedo in this world. There's no winning here, my friend. You just shrug your shoulders and move on. Your wife is being super weird about this. I think that if the mother, the couple, and the others around you didn't give you an odd look or step in, you're good. You reacted to a child's innocent socializing with cautious friendliness. If you told the story to your wife the same way you described it here, then your wife's the weird one here.